Thank you for your attention. My name's Carly Rutledge and I'm the Community Relations Advisor as part of the project team delivering the Furlong and Main Road level crossing removal projects in Melbourne's West. Today I wanted to talk to you about the community, sustaining community and wellbeing as part of the projects. Over the next 8 years, 50 dangerous and congested level railway crossings across Melbourne are planned for removal. This significant infrastructure commitment is being overseen by the Level Crossing Removal Authority. The Victorian Government allocated $2.4 billion in its 2015-16 budget to remove at least 20 of these crossings by 2018, which is part of a long-term plan to remove all 50 level crossings by 2022. These are significant road and rail infrastructure projects delivering strong returns on the community. The visible and tangible benefits that can easily be seen within the communities is improved safety, reduced congestion for drivers and pedestrians, improved travel efficiencies around Melbourne if you're a train user, driver, pedestrian, cyclist. People can get home safer and faster. It stimulates economic growth and also employment in the local areas, and in addition, of course, revitalising the local communities, especially when there's station rebuilds in the area. Furlong and Main roads in St Albans are two of the level railway crossings currently being removed. It's due for completion in May this year. Main and Furlong roads are about 16 kilometres west of Melbourne and are part of a $481.2 million package of works that involves Blackburn Road and Heatherdale roads in Melbourne's east. This includes also funding of $151 million from the federal government. Construction works involve lowering the rail line under Main and Furlong roads and rebuilding 2 new stations. These level crossings were determined as needing to be completed from surveys, traffic counts, crash data, liaison with key stakeholders, and identified as unsafe level crossings for drivers and pedestrians alike. Research identified that, on average, boom gates at these level crossings would be down between 35 and 65 minutes during any peak 2-hour period, afternoon or mornings. There were also fatal incidents, many collisions and many near misses at both of these intersections. There were large volumes of vehicles across these intersections. At Main Road, it'd be about 20,000 vehicles per day and Furlong 13,000. There's also an increased number of train services, being a busy line and more population along the line, which meant that the boom gates would have to be operating more often with an increase in number of trains. The level crossing removal project at Furlong and Main Road will deliver a range of benefits including improved safety for drivers and pedestrians, reduced congestion and better connectivity with public transport services and local community. This includes lowering the rail line under Furlong and Main Road, rebuilding 2 new stations, including a 700 metre square retail space at St Albans Station, provided improved accessibility for the local area with lowered platforms via lifts, ramps and stairs. It's also creating a new bus interchange and reconstructing car parks and optimising car parks for the local area as well, and a new pedestrian overpass across various sections along the rail corridor. This creates better connectivity in the area. Delivery of the project. To achieve this transformation, the Level Crossing Removal Authority is overseeing the level crossing removal in an alliance model. The following organisations are part of the alliance: CPB Contractors, which is a member of the CIMIC Group, Oricon and Arcadis, PTV, Public Transport Victoria, Metro Trains and also Vic Roads. The alliance contracting model is an infrastructure procurement where government collaborates with the private sector to procure major capital assets, and all parties share opportunities and work through risks together as projects progress. The alliance delivery at Main and Furlong roads for the level crossing removal projects was formed to deliver design and construction of the civil, track and structural works on the project site. The challenges that have been delivered as part of the project delivery: there are complex and fast-paced projects that often has quite significant construction impacts for the local area and inconveniences for the local residents, road and rail users. So the challenge was, as part of this project, to strike a balance in between the planned works and actual practical completion, and then also minimising the disruptions to local community, train services and also road users. This is achieved, obviously, for us, was by maximising work activity in periods of planned work blitzes, as we would term them, which we would also refer to as occupation periods, which could be a 4-week period of a road closure or 4-week period where buses replacing trains because there's no train services. During that time, our construction activities would roll 24/7 around the clock. Other impacts during these works have also presented a challenge, including noise, dust, and also small business impacts. To overcome these, the major focus has been around providing the communities with as much information as early as possible at the start of the project and throughout the project about what the plan is to be and when it will finish. Much of this information would include parking impacts, bus detours, traffic management, when to expect major blitzes, and alternative parking arrangements. This way, the community has more of an opportunity to work around these impacts and plan. St Albans is a very culturally diverse area with more than 54% of the residents born originally overseas, which is reflective of the local shopping areas and community events and festivals. We've had to engage effective and tailored community and stakeholder relations, which have been vital for the project, given its centre in the community. There is a really heavy KPI weighting on this community and stakeholder relations as part of this project, and it's measured through a regular community and stakeholder survey. This community-wide survey is done by an independent organisation, is normally held after a 4-week blitz or a major disruption period. The evaluations of these surveys and the results help us determine areas to change and improve and work into our next stage of works. There's a strong sense of community networks that rely on a variety of platforms in this community to receive information, to engage and connect. It's not just a mainstream platforms that work well here. Therefore, it was important for us to implement initiatives that worked in a very diverse community. Some of those activities that have worked well for us have been open and transparent communication, open and transparent and early notification of disruptions, use of visual diagrams and illustrations, particularly with those residents who don't speak English very well, face-to-face community sessions and pop-ups being visible in the community and partnerships with local events, regular attendance to trader group meetings and local committee meetings, community project ambassadors, so engaging some of the local traders or some of the local residents to be ambassadors for the project to communicate any updates or any works, and also frequent health checks with stakeholders during key periods of disruptions to check on how they're going and what changes can be done to help them out. So now to talking about one particular case where one of our initiatives, which we implemented out in St Albans for the Furlong and main level crossing removal projects, we work with a local business group, the St Albans Business Group, to create a more tailored version of what would be the standard Open for Business campaign. We created a really unique, colourful campaign that utilised local ambassadors who were obviously local shop owners, and then we also leveraged and harnessed ways to build community pride. They owned and they pushed the campaign as a way of helping through major disruption periods. This particular campaign, the My St Albans Love Your Local campaign, it was more specific and tailored for the colourful area that it was, and it was also launched before a major work blitz. This one was particularly launched before our major work blitz in October and November last year, which featured a 4-week rail closure and then a 4-week road closure. And it incorporated a mix of local paper and newspaper advertising. So it was local paper and ethnic paper, radio, letterbox drops, social media campaign, and it also utilised branding merchandise, which was given out to the local community, such as balloons, badges, postcards, and some fun gimmicky things, which helped push the message further. The series of adverts in the local papers, we actually used rotating ambassadors, so people were then able to sort of relate to those ambassadors if they wished to. And it was always done it was either before a major disruption or through a major disruption. The local traders and stakeholders were very proud of the campaign and encouraged stronger engagement with the project, and they were taken on the journey of the project as well. Why it worked? For us, it's left an engaging and effective, or probably memorable legacy for local traders in the local area and to use beyond the project. It delivers a campaign that draws on local community pride and also support. It brings the local community and the businesses on the journey of the project. It also has engaged proactive ambassadors who are actually locals themselves, who are the connecting point between the project and also the local traders group. The success relied on their support and enthusiasm, and it also pushed thinking outside of the box rather than just the mainstream ways of connecting and engaging with people. So if I wanted to reflect on some of the top tips from this project and sustaining community health and wellbeing as part of these level crossing removals, I'd say that the alliance delivery model is effective because it prioritised engagement with the local community, being a heavy weighting on the stakeholder engagement through clear key performance indicators. Also, an ability to adapt and evolve your processes based on community feedback, which was the survey that we'd often get results from regularly. It's important to build and create your local ambassadors and choose wisely who those ambassadors are, because they're advocating for you on behalf of the project and communicating what's happening around the project to the local area. They then spread this information through to their networks as well. Leave an engaging and effective legacy for your local community to sustain connectivity beyond the project itself. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time.